1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. What's up, guys? I'll go live in a second. Just checking everything is working correctly. Don't like that stupid video, that stupid YouTube thing on the side at all. We'll start in just a second. Still trying to figure out how to check correctly. Okay, finally. Why is it not working? Let me try through the X link. Okay, it is working. It is working as expected. Okay, it is working. It is working as expected. My screen is properly shared. Let's start. Let's start. Let's start. What a crazy week we have. What a crazy week behind. So the name for today video for today for today's weekly update and overview is crypto roller coaster. Load your bags, buckle up, and enjoy the ride. Today, 2nd March. It's been a rough week, to say the least. The price action was very volatile, highly volatile. Hmm. Let's look at the price action for a second. So let's zoom in a bit since everyone was kind of zoomed in this week. So what we did, we've been declining. We finally broke that range that tight range, which we were in for quite a bit. For to be exact, we've been in that range for 20 days. For 20 days, almost 3 weeks. We've been in the range. We finally broke out of that tight range. Starting Monday, basically 3 days of extreme declines. Then some stabilization on Thursday. Then capitulation on Friday. The hammer candlestick formation, which we saw on Friday, already gave some good signs of hope. Um, we could see on the daily the oscillator is finally, due to today's price action, is finally turning around and getting out of the oversold, of completely oversold zone. Um, Very nice price action today, of course. For followed the news on the followed by the Trump post on the reserve on the strategic reserve fund project progress. We'll go over it in a second. So basically, we bounce back into the zone, which is a good sign. It's obviously strong resistance lines here, so it's kind of expected that we slow down a bit here. But we could see it across the top symbols. Ethereum, nice rebounds. Yeah, meanwhile, it remains still pretty low. Like it's rebounding from much lower range than compared to Bitcoin. Solana, very beat up, but also very strong rebounds today. XRP, extremely strong. Pretty much like the downtrend line is broken, and very strong move back into the uh, into the trend, into the growth trend, basically. So basically, right now trading at around $2.8. Not again, not too far away from previous all-time highs. Very nice, very strong price action on XRP. Obviously, the reasons are clear. It was one of those tokens, one of those coins, I mean, mentioned in the Trump's reserve, strategic reserve fund news. BNB not so active today, based of the news. Uh, Obviously, Cardano, extreme move to basically it was, I think, up to 60% up today, from 65 cents to $1. Again, in a strong resistance zone, but basically back into the uptrend channel. That's the right word I was looking for. I couldn't find right away. Um, all right. So here we see that. Let me just check one more thing again to make sure that everything is recording good. My screen is properly shared. Let's start. Let's start. Let's start. What a crazy week we have. What a crazy week behind. Crazy week we have. What a crazy week behind. Um, Crazy week we have. What a crazy week behind. Um, Crazy week we have. What a crazy week behind. All right, everything is good. So back to the recording, back to live. So yeah, Cardano was one of the ones which was mentioned. So definitely a very strong performance. I don't want to go too deep into the analysis today because uh, since today is more like overview of the last week, and last week wasn't too much price action on altcoins. One other thing that I wanted to show on the graph is Bitcoin dominance. So we finally see the break of the trend line. Let's see if we have that candlestick close below the trend. trend line. We actually haven't seen that for a while, like since November, since 3rd of December, this downtrend line basically was established. And there's also an ascendant triangle formation that we could see here as well. So let's see if that formation would finally get broken, and we could see an out season finally start. Um, Meanwhile, Bitcoin still remains pretty strong, even like though it's trying to fight that trend line. It's still like we still have pretty strong momentum with Bitcoin. So it's quite interesting to see how it would evolve. So let's get back to the presentation. Let's get back to the analysis. So of course we have to touch on the biggest news of today, which drove the market throughout Sunday, which was supposed to be slow and boring, but ended up actually to be a lot of fun. It's obviously sent those values of the mentioned coins skyrocketing, and partially reversed a recent slump that we experienced last week. So basically, what happened in a post on Truth Social early in the morning, Trump said that President's Working Group on Digital Asset Markets, a group that he set up through an executive order shortly after taking the office, is moving forward with the crypto reserve, which would include Bitcoin, Ethereum, and three US-based cryptocurrencies, which are XRP, Solana, and Cardano. Um, and that obviously gave a huge uh, head for those coins, and they just had a pretty nice rally throughout the day. Um, as I showed you a bit earlier. I will make sure the US is the crypto capital of the world, Mr. Trump wrote in his tweet. David Sachs supported him a bit later. To remind everyone, David Sachs is a venture capitalist and the president's appointed White House AI and crypto czar. He said in his Sunday tweet that more details will be revealed at the White House Crypto Summit scheduled for Friday, March 7th. This news actually was posted on Saturday. On Saturday morning, Trump posted that there will be a White House Crypto Summit held in the White House on March 7th. Founders and CEOs and investors from the crypto industry will be among the attendees, according to White House representative. Okay, so enough on that. Enough on the news. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Um, let's talk a bit about what we experience short term, mid term, and long term, and what are the perspectives from my point of view. So basically, as we all know, market declined throughout the week, as I showed you on the graphs. It was a pretty significant decline. We capitulated on Friday and rebounded back on Sunday. During the Friday lows, at some point was down almost down to 30% from Bitcoin was down almost 30% from its recent highs, which were regained by almost half during today's Sunday's recovery rally, which came due to the news which we discussed above. Initially, candlestick pattern promised no signs of immediate reversal from such declines, but Trump's Strategic Reserve Fund news announcement flipped the sentiment, closing on a very strong hammer candlestick bullish formation. Uh, Meanwhile, leverage is completely wiped out on the long side. A lot of shorts are still in, which combined with extremely positive strategic reserve fund news might result in a short squeeze to the upside. Bulls market perspective is gaining momentum and becoming pretty strong. Current short-term corrective price action is painful as it felt, is normal within the overall Bitcoin bull market structure, especially when followed by strong relief rallies like the one we experienced today. It's important to remember and keep in mind the big picture. The long-term Bitcoin fundamentals remain in place and becoming stronger than ever. Many technical and sentiment indicators are in oversold range, even providing for today's rebounds, they still remain there, providing for a great entry opportunity for both long-term believers and newcomers. Remember, in volatile assets like Bitcoin, market follows common patterns. First panics and then corrects. So it's very common, it's very standard what we saw, and it's um, very healthy what we experience today. Macroeconomic impact is very important because it's gaining momentum and gaining much bigger, more serious influence. So it's important to pay attention to it. I'm actually going to make a more detailed video on that throughout the week because it's worth to understand it. It's not that simple like those movements in fiscal policies. They are pretty complicated. So basically, what's happening in very simple words for now that it's we're having a significant shift in fiscal policy, a dramatic shift, which is basically from Biden's high spending, stimulus-driven market growth to Trump fiscal tightening and potential GDP slowdown, unemployment rise, and low inflation. It's hard to say which better, which worse, even though I think Trump one is healthier. But those shifts, especially those dramatic shifts in fiscal policies, they are always very painful from the macroeconomic perspective. So we'll see how it will play out, and I'll continue to monitor it closely as part of my risk management analysis, and I'll continue to keep you posted on what I see. And as I promised earlier, I will do a more detailed video on that later during the week. I'm working on it already, actually. So market basically fears a recession and kind of prices in the recession as government spending cuts, which significantly reduce economic growth. Government spending is a pretty significant part of the economic growth and GDP. So any cuts, especially significant cuts that Dodge are doing, even though they're healthier long term, short term, they might bring some economic pain in the form of recession. The Federal Reserve may lower the interest rates as inflation cools, which could eventually support the market, but that might take some time. With Federal Reserve, you never know how fast or slow they're going to react. But unfortunately, usually it's either too fast or too slow. They're never like really on time. Even though to give them a credit, like doing pretty good lately. Been pretty good in avoiding any serious and unpredicted moves. So hopefully they will manage it well and won't be late this time because it seems like they, with what Trump administration is doing on the fiscal tightening side, they should decrease the rates sooner than later. Okay, so short term, 3 to 6 months of uncertainty, followed by long term optimism. I think that's a pretty accurate description of how I feel and how uh, I how I'm basically going and how I'm playing that market. So I'm ready for more short-term pain, but long-term I'm remain optimistic, and I'll show you below a bit more why. The market is currently pricing in economic downturns, as was discussed above. Bitcoin's long-term fundamentals remain strong, with its fixed supply contrasting with fiat currency inflation, which is like a major uh, strength for the Bitcoin. The ETF boom and Trump election win fueled the recent BTC rally, but macroeconomic factors now dominate. But as we saw today with the strategic reserve fund, it fueled the market pretty well as well. So there is even though not all, even though that all the news could fuel the market, some of the news could still fuel the market pretty well. I actually forgot to put it in the final analysis. Let me just open my notes really fast, since we're on the news side right now. And I'm actually preparing a risk management matrix, which I believe would be very helpful to everyone as well. So I'm going to post it shortly before the end of the week. Uh, let's see where my notes are. If I could find the notes. I cannot find the notes. Let's see. Obviously not here. Oh, okay. I was in the wrong one, I think. So you guys see a lot of analysis goes into what I do here. It's a lot of data, a lot of incoming factors. So yeah, basically what I wanted to show is here, end of February 25 bullish event. So you could see it's a lot of bullish stuff coming in, but for some reason, not for some reason, but because for many reasons, because there is so many different factors influencing market environment at the same time, they weren't by themselves, they weren't causing any significant movement to the upside. Instead, we were experiencing a downside movement. While now, with only that one single news, it just hit it. It's like basically just turns the sentiment completely around. Uh, it's crazy how it happens in crypto because so many different things going on, so many positive things going on. Like SEC dropped like numerous more cases. That's like a weekly news now that SEC drop in some cases. Good ones like OpenSea, Coinbase, Robinhood, Gemini, U- Uniswap. Senator Loomis has hinted that big things are cooking for crypto, and we'll find out on the March 11th. And it looks like we're already starting to find out some of the big things that have been cooking in the pot behind the scene and behind the backs. Analyst at Bernstein reiterated BTC at 200K this year. So big institutional money is betting on expensive Bitcoin and continued price evaluation on Bitcoin. Broader institutional adoption is on the way, with BlackRock adding IBIT ETF to its own model portfolio, which is very important, meaning that not only retail investors are investing in IBIT ETF, but also BlackRock itself adding it in its portfolio. So it's like a big one, institutional money adoption, like a bigger, even a bigger example and practice of institutional adoption. BOFA plans to launch stable coins. State Street and Citigroup getting ready to offer crypto custody services. So it's getting very exciting. It's like it's finally getting that adoption that which we were waiting for a while. A lot of initiatives on the legislative side of things. Not even going to read from all of them. I'll add them to a final presentation. And by the way, I'm going to start posting the presentation in our Telegram channel, and I'm going to leave a link for the Telegram channel below, so you know where to get the slides for the lives for the shows that we do. Okay, let's get back to that presentation. Um, Basically, global stimulus and the rate cut follow. This would lead into another, which would follow in the midterm, which is currently expected to be around Q3. But with current pace, hopefully it will happen earlier because, as I emphasized there before, it's important to take those actions sooner or later, taking into account those actions that are taken on the fiscal side of things, those aggressive approach on cost cutting and everything else. Conclusion: Bitcoin is in a volatile phase, as we all noticed already. But history shows oversold condition often lead to long-term gains. So again, I believe that taking into account today's price action, I would be seriously considering. I opened some additional positions, obviously today, mostly on Sol. I missed out. I was waiting, and I was afraid, as always, to buy the lows. Kind of expecting more correction, and Sol been beaten out. And in spite of very clearly great entries levels at 125, I ended up buying way higher. But again, I just I'm just not good in picking the lows and the highs. It's not easy. For me, it's better to strategy to average down, and it's a shame that I haven't picked any at 120, 150 levels and ended up buying at the highs around 160 after the news announcement came out already. But it's always like that. You never know. At least I'm honest with you. At least I tell you openly. About, and I didn't pick up any other, for example. I didn't pick up any Cardano because it was already too high up, and it's just very close to the highs as I showed you before. So I just wasn't ready to pick it up at those levels anymore. But I did pick up some of XRP because I wanted to hold some of it, so I was able to pick up some of XRP. I believe it's still very good entry point. I believe that some signs of stabilization that we would see overnight uh, would be coming in with a strong support throughout the week, with more certainty and more announcements coming in relation to the reserve fund. It seems that should fuel the market. BTC dominance testing a key trend line level right here on the trend line. The next one on the Ichimoku cloud indicator already broke down below the signal lines. Uh, but let's see how it holds. Uh, all the indicators are trending down. If it fails to hold, this could be an early signal for altcoin season. So let's see if it holds it or not in the next during the next week, and I'll keep you updated on what I see in terms of dominance and altcoin season coming. uh, Trump Besant free plan. I'm actually going to make a separate video on it as part of my macroeconomic analysis this week. I'm working on it already, so hopefully I will be posting it in the next couple of days. Make sure to keep tuned in, subscribe, like, post, repost our videos, comment, ask questions. I've been pretty actively posting on Twitter. We're actually launching some automations as well, some AI-based automations. So we'll be doing some good news analysis, some ongoing news analysis, and some other things. I'll introduce them later to you this week. Pretty sophisticated stuff, pretty automated stuff, and hopefully we'll get it to the good level. We'll need your help. We'll need your feedback for to make AI better, to make AI to better recognize what we are all interested in. We will be actively training AI, but obviously your help is very important to us. And again, we're starting a Telegram group. Basically, just created it yesterday. We'll be posting tonight the first presentation and just some ongoing material. I like Telegram a lot. It's very convenient. You could just install it on your phone. Pretty widely used by crypto community. Very simple. Just another messenger, basically. You could download it on your computer, on your desktop. You could download it on your phone. Uh, if you don't have an account, just register it with your phone, and you will have access to all this presentation material, to all this alpha, to all these suggestions, and basically our vision. It's pretty structured. We try to make it pretty structured, basically straight to the point. Hopefully, it will be useful to you as well. I mean, it's part of our investment analysis. We're pretty much not doing any extra job. We're just doing our regular investment analysis, but we do on a weekly basis. But sharing it with you, sharing with our community, uh, trying to grow community. So help us out. And if you like our videos, and if you share our videos with your friends and family who are interested perhaps to also join crypto, we'll highly appreciate it. So coming back to Trump descent free plan, its interest rates significantly impact market movements. So basically, as rates down, market up; as rates up, market down. Here we could see that if interest rates rise, basically if the prices fall, the yields rise in bonds, and if the prices rise, the yields fall. So that's basically what Trump is trying to achieve. Trump administration aims to lower long-term U.S. Treasury yields to stimulate economic growth. So that's what they're trying to achieve. To if interest rates fall, uh, basically the prices would rise. To achieve the Scott Basin Treasury Secretaries, to achieve this, Scott Basin Treasury Secretaries spearheading the free plan, the ultimate objective of which is to increase demand for US bonds, pushing their prices up and yields interest rates down. So there's like three key objectives, and that's why it's called free plan. Achieve 3% real GDP growth, reduce annual budget deficit to 3% of GDP, increase US oil production by 3 million barrels per day. Uh, Trust me, guys, even if you have PhD in economics, it is not easy for you, for me, for anyone to comprehend and fully understand those all those numerous factors that go into the fiscal policy, for into the global macroeconomic fiscal policy. Um, so that's why I'm preparing a detailed video on that. I'll try to explain it in simple words, but I need to prepare well for that because it's not easy to. When it's not easy to understand yourself, it's not that easy to explain to others. But I'll try to bring it down to. I'll try to break it down for you to simple terms. It will be coming shortly, so keep tuned in. Okay, so let's look at a couple way more simpler concepts, which for me emphasize the bottom and which for me emphasize the good entry point at this stage. So Andrei Dragic, one of the people who I'm following, as I promised you, by the way, I'm going to be trying to introduce more useful stuff for you. like who I follow, who I watch on YouTube, who I follow on Instagram, who I believe experts, what type of analysis those experts do. I'll try to invite some of them to participate in the shows, in our live shows shortly, or perhaps record some videos with them, which I would incorporate in the shows later. But that's all definitely to come. But let me first introduce you to some accounts that I follow, to some videos I watch. Perhaps you'll find them useful for you as well. So Andrei Dragic, PhD, Bitcoin macro and macro analyst. Key observations. That's from one of his posts earlier this week. Key observations for the Bitcoin size. Most of selling yesterday was done by the 1K to 10K Bitcoin whales. Age. Most of the selling yesterday was done by very short-term holders, 1 day to 1 week holding period, as James Curran has correctly pointed out below. That's like um, the other influencer that I follow. So what we could see here, that one thing that we do see a lot of selling, even though a lot of selling was done by whales, we could see that a lot of sales were done. I mean, mostly by whales. I would say mostly by whales. Mostly the whales were selling, but also we need to take into account that relatively wise whales are much larger. But generally, I agree. There was another interesting news that I forgot to incorporate into my analysis. I don't think I reposted it, but I'll repost it later today on my Twitter account if I find it. But it was all over the Twitter actually today, so you probably saw it already if you are subscribed to some crypto related accounts. If you're not, you should, because it's very useful. It's like very useful source of information. You should find those people that you like, that you follow, that you should develop trust. Like, don't trust me, don't trust anyone. Like, you should develop trust. You should test everyone out. It takes time. Testing out takes time. So make sure to test everyone out because there's a lot of bullshit out there. So make sure to cut that bullshit out and test out before going on ill. But short-term holders are not note that short-term holders are not necessarily equivalent to retail. Many whales that tend to be short-term traders as well. I mean, kind of makes sense because the whales usually are traders, not only investors. But this graph actually is much more interesting. It's stable, not graph. But I find it much more interesting and kind of more useful to read my market sentiment. So it's by James Van Straten. Again, you could see his X address here. So basically, what he says and what he knows that short-term hodl sells, mid and long-term hodl. Short-term hodlers who bought the top are selling spot Bitcoin. This isn't leverage-driven. Perps are negative. So that's kind of an interesting statement that he's making. So I mean, it was that's why it ended up making into our final analysis because I mean it's important to diversify who is driving the market price action, and we see that it's not like um, that it's on one hand it's driven by whales, on the other hand it's not driven by leverage, it's driven by the short-term holders. That's why equity research is then he goes into explaining a bit more that about equities and about MSTR, which is Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy, renamed into strategy now. Green, they must have bottomed out or close to. Just your old-fashioned fire sale in BDC. But this is very interesting. So basically, 10-year to 1 year holders are not selling anything. So those who've been holding Bitcoin for over 1 year, they sold nothing. Even the 6 months holders haven't sold anything, like $11, nothing. 3 to 6 months holders, nothing, less than a million. So basically, the people, the investors who were selling, relatively whales or not, or retail, were the short-term holders, not the long-term. The long-term bags are still in place, and no one selling long-term bags. So that's very interesting. That shows that there is a lot of strength, a lot of long-term belief into Bitcoin. That short-term, uh, that short-term investments, short-term hands are exchanging, when long-term hands are strong, are hodling and holding strong. Okay, let's move to spot ETF net flow outflow, another important crypto-specific indicator. I generally believe in the market state like we experienced last week. It's a bit more important to give more broader view, to show you, to introduce you to some metrics, some broader metrics that we are monitoring continuously and permanently, in attempt to stay ahead of the market, or at least up to with the market. So this is an important one. This is the one that came into the game early in 2024, around then, and first ETFs been launched, but we're finally getting some history here. So we could see how ETFs performed under various price actions. So what we experienced over the last week was the longest consecutive outflows since ETF launch. We could see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days of outflows. Before it was like usually around 4, 5 days of consecutive. There was like one pretty bad here in the beginning of the year, after the December hype. So I mean, not like completely exceptional, but it's not only the longest consecutive, but it's also the highest USD volume of outflows since the TF launch. Pretty emotional driven. Remember, this is not professional, and this is the bottom, about 1 billion, um, somewhere around Wednesday. But remember, this is not professional traders. ETF is retail investors who basically bought, and they could have made pretty good money if they bought sometime early. If they were early entrants in the ETF, they might have made pretty good returns and just reallocated a bit. I don't know. But in any case, let's see how it's going to change next week with sentiment flipping and hopefully more good news coming in terms of crypto. Crypto strategic reserve fund. Another indicator, another important one to look at, it's actually combines 30 different indicators. You could find it on CoinGlass. It's 30 bull market peak indicators. Sell at the top. Remain at the max hold throughout the latest crypto market pump in November, December 24. So basically, what you could see here, that out of 30 indicators, 29 indicate that the bull market peak have not been achieved. So we're not even near the close. And that's why it's kind of good to keep it in perspective, to understand where we are in the market cycle. And unless we believe, which I don't believe, that the bull market is broken, because with the news like we saw today, I mean, how could it be broken? How could the bull market be broken? It's just beginning. It's going to be just fueled by the more and more positive news. It's just like, um, I mean, it looks like it's like not been. I think a lot of positive news. It seems like the market is might be even be a bit behind right now, because uh, even me last week, uh, even I was not expecting such fast movement. It's very hard to read, even if you're deep in the market, your feet deep into the water. Uh, you're reading all that stuff, you're trying to understand all this movement and sentiment. It's very, very hard to predict. So sometimes those things happen just out of nowhere. There's black swans, mm, and mostly. most often speak about black swans, but there is also other type of swans, those swans that bring very positive price action, and that's what we experience today. And um, again, I'm going to share with you. I'm going to very shortly present. Follow me on Twitter. It probably will be posted there before YouTube, and on Telegram as well. I'll after I'm posting reposting that video in the recorded section. I'll add all the appropriate links to the Telegram account, to the Twitter account, so you'll be able to see all the links. But in any case, we're just in the beginning. I believe we just kind of like what's the right word? Not recharge, but like rebalanced. It's like basically deep down, and like we're really ready. We're really ready for the new leg up. Um, so if you're planning to allocate, not a financial advice, obviously none of what I'm showing you is a financial advice. Just showing what we're looking at. I'm just showing what we're doing. But if you're considering to allocate, this is not a bad time. Trust me, this is not a bad time right now. We did not have those entry levels for quite a bit, and we did not have that sentiment and that uh, strong, convinced overall feeling for good entries. That's another indicator that is proving exactly the same point. Very crypto specific fear and greed index. Alex, again, I'll do more presentations, explanations. I've just started working on the on some master classes which will provide more explanations, more details for you on how all those indicators work and how we use those indicators to make our investment decisions. Sometimes it might be a bit counterintuitive. For example, here with fear and greed index, you would kind of expect that you buy um, that you sell the fear and you buy the greed, but that's not how it works. It's completely opposite. You actually buy the fear, sell the greed, and you will see that over time. Um, I've actually done some pretty interesting studies on that. Perhaps we'll do some preparation of them as well and share them with you. But there are some very simple strategies that you could build around fear and greed index while buying in fear. Just basically very simple. Just buying several times during fear when it hits maximum fear extremes, and selling when it hits the maximum greed index. And I mean, it's an interesting strategy because like you kind of like keep it's like investment grade strategy where it's like very simple, but you keep rebalancing. Like you never exit position completely. Like you keep holding the position. You just basically either increase in position or decrease in it, kind of like down cost and average, and by taking profits off the table. So it's like it's very simple but smart. I'll probably present it shortly for you. For now, extreme fear. What is important to know that sometimes we do stay in the area of extreme fear for quite a bit. So don't expect that it might like what we saw today might be just a relief rally. And the difference from between relief rallies and the real rallies is that relief rallies might be not long lasting. So they might just bring us back to some um, previous levels of resistance and then rebounds back down unless supported by some more positive news, which might happen. We never know. With Mr. Trump, things have been moving very, very fast thanks to him, uh, because it seems like everything he is doing is great for United States and for the market and for the crypto especially. And as a crypto traders, that's what we're mostly interested for. mostly interested in. On-chain support. So what we see, that's another very interesting indicator that I follow a lot. It's called short-term holder realized price. Again, I'll be doing more education on what it is about and how it works. This metric represents short-term Bitcoin investors' average entry price, basically their cost basis. In a bull market, BTC below this metric typically highlights a value buying opportunity before price then bounces back above. We could see it here highlighted. We could see it here, small run. Here, a huge run. That's last year. That's pretty much, I believe, that last November run. And that's earlier last year. And that's another big run when ETFs were announced in the beginning of 2004, and that's a huge one in July. So as you could see, we touch it, we either touch it or we go down. We might go down for a significant period of time, but that's, remember, that was still a bear market. So in the bull market, it usually not too long, but we could see that, for example, last year in the boring almost 250-day consolidation, we saw it quite a bit below that line. So let's see how it performs. Again, this is on-chain indicators. They only looked on a daily basis. You usually don't look them down below a daily basis. They don't not so representative. I'll be doing more studies and more education. I'll be sharing more of my studies of those indicators with you shortly. So uh, again, keep tuned. There will be a lot more content, a lot of more useful educational content published shortly. Remember, everything is free for now. Educate yourself. Use those rough times. Use those rough markets while you're sitting down and not trading. Now, we might be doing way more trading, but in the past, what, like 3, 4 weeks, 5, 6 weeks, no trades were done. So almost 2 months. So that was a great opportunity to get some hands-on experience. And remember, market trends much more than it moves up or down. It doesn't matter. It trends much more. So use those trending markets not to waste your money on stupid trades, but to educate yourself and learn the stuff. And for that, I'm here. I'll be working on some master classes for you. Ask questions so I know what to address more. But I believe I have pretty good picture and pretty structured approach to explain it to you in simple terms. And we'll go as we'll basically learn as we go, and we'll have different formats. Perhaps we'll hold some Zoom meetings eventually when we have more subscribers, more people involved, and I will be able to talk to you live. I'll be able to discuss everything live. Okay, so let's come back to here. Um, Looks like this cycle wasn't expected. Price lows have occurred when BTC has retraced below this key level before rallying higher as the market anticipates future higher prices and perceives current prices to be at relative discount. As we've seen Bitcoin now reach an attractive level value, uh, I've seen Bitcoin now reach attractive value levels once again. I believe we did. We did saw it in a very attractive levels. I'm not sure they're as attractive anymore as the time of going as the time of the presentation preparation. Uh, Bitcoin was definitely reaching attractive value levels. At the time of going live, it might be already a bit too far back into the range at 94, 95. I don't know. Again, at least in my flavor, it might be a bit too high up already. But again, it's definitely a positive development. It's definitely some type of move that could have been easily expected. Some type of move that based on numerous metrics, as I was been showing you today, makes a lot of sense. Another important metric that I wanted to present to you today is MVRV Z-Score. When observing near-term price action like the one seen over the past couple of weeks, it is very easy to lose the perspective. That's why indicators like MVRV Z-score are very important to zoom out, to look at the bigger picture. Um, well, it may feel like the cycle has already been a wild ride. We have still not seen an extreme influx of capital seen in prior cycles. You could see that on this graph. So we haven't reached the red zone. Here in 2020 and 21, we reached in 17, 18, and we reached in 13, 14. It was reached twice, but here it wasn't broken once yet. So and we're actually pretty low. We're like not even like touching close into 4-6 range. We're like between 2-4 range, which is very light. Uh, when that occurs, it pushes Bitcoin market cap significantly higher than BTC realized cap, the average cost basis of investors in the red zone here, signaling the cycle is becoming overheated with the scores above 6. So above 6. We're not even above 4. We haven't even touched 4. With all this bullish momentum and bullish news coming into the market, I mean, we should be definitely at least expecting 4 to 6 uh, being covered. The high score for the metric so far this cycle is just 3.36 with a current score of just 2.19. I still believe that there is a long way to go before retail and institution really start to rush in. This is why I continue to believe that investors should not panic but be patient. Bitcoin has historically rewarded patience a lot. Bounce soon. Looks like again we're a bit behind. Bounce already in. Doesn't isn't it look like that? Doesn't it feel like that? What's the markets are doing? Let's take a look what the markets are doing. In the correction mode. Everything is in correction mode. Might be opening for some great entries. So let's keep monitoring overnight. Let's see what's going to happen overnight. Let's see how deep the correction is going to go. I mean, my expectation that it might go back to like 91, like it should retest 91 or even 80, 89, 600 zone. So might be a good retest of below 90, a bit below 90. So keep an eye if you're looking at. With the Ethereum, much harder, but I believe it might go back to like 2,300. It's much more volatile. Might go back to linear regression lines to the trend, to the low end of the trend. So let's keep looking. Sol also might very well go because it's several intersections on the linear regression. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Sol at around 100, back to around 160. Um, XRP, I would not expect. It might touch 2.5. It might retrace here, but I would probably more expect it to hold 2.6, 2.7. But again, let's see how market is going to be digesting that overnight. Croy is on fire. Crypto.com is on fire. I'll be monitoring it. I like Crypto.com, a good exchange. Uh, Nothing else. Nothing else is on fire. The day already switched for me. Remember, those bad boys in AI were performing pretty well. I'll be probably working on some. If they continue rebounds, I'll be working on some update on them shortly as well. Okay, let's finish up. Let's finish up today's video. What do we have left? We have Bitcoin Crosby Ratio. I mean, kind of the same. They all signal the same. Like I just, they're all part of this 30 bull market peak indicators. I just selected several, which I use, but they all kind of signaling the same. That they're low ranges, below zeros, nothing close to oversold. So not like even close, nothing even close to oversold conditions. Um, so a lot of growth potential. I think there's a lot of growth potential. That's why I think risk to reward ratio turned pretty well based on the price action that we saw last week, and including today's Sunday's price action. And it's not overheated, but it might get overheated fast. I'm not sure when I'm going to do the next video. Keep following on Twitter, keep following on Telegram. I'll be doing more timely updates there. Uh, but I hope it's not going to be late by the time we go live next time. But if it will be intense, I'll probably do a live around Tuesday, Wednesday. So I'll see you guys around. Hopefully it's been useful. The last one, let me just show you the last chart before I go off. It's aggregated liquidations chart. I mean, it's also very important to look at how the leverage the market is at each point of time, and market is completely deleveraged and ready to go. So hopefully you enjoyed that live. Hopefully it was useful for everyone. Um, um, Keep following us. I will be working a lot on more materials, as I told you. Um, I have a busy week ahead. A lot I want to bring to the community, a lot I want to share to you. So I'll be working on preparing those materials, and I'll see you shortly. And keep following us on on YouTube, on Telegram, and on Twitter. We'll be launching a lot of new stuff this weeks and in the coming couple months. So get much more interested, much more professional, much more sophisticated, and my like well organized, structured, systematic, the way we want to do it. Basically, we will be trying to keep to our original promises that you should be able to invest and trade crypto by spending no more than hour and a half per week. Look forward to see you all. Thanks for watching. Uh, Bye.